Hello everyone. Say what you want, but getting into the Guinness Book of Records is great. Usually people deliberately invent these unusual records in order to end up in the famous list of record holders. After all, most of the records in the world are standard categories like the tallest and shortest people in the world, the fattest and the thinnest people in the world, the highest standing jump, and so on. It's difficult to beat these kind of records. It's much easier though to set your own, absurd, funny and even ridiculous record, which had never even occurred to anyone before. We're going to talk about such records today. Let's get it on. Crush watermelons with your thighs really fast. Why not? This is a record set by Ukrainian athlete Olga Liashchuk. And don't think that this is simple or that anyone can do it. Your legs are not like hands, and watermelons are a very stubborn fruit that doesn't always want to be crushed. In addition, watermelons are round and constantly roll away. Nevertheless, Olga chose this rather complicated record and set it. In 2014, representatives of the Guinness Book of Records were looking for a new record, so they invited Olga to Italy, where in 14 seconds she crushed 3 watermelons, weighing about 4 kilograms with her thighs.
Stop.
So, thanks to the watermelons, Olga Liashchuk became the only Ukrainian female record holder of the Guinness Book of Records. However, according to the athlete herself, setting records for her is a hobby. She is the world and European strongwoman champion, the absolute world champion of 2014, world record holder, and owner of the World Prof card, and she doesn't plan to stop. She wants to achieve even more titles and crush some more watermelons. Well, Liashchuk considers the bronze medal of the Arnold Classic tournament as the most prestigious trophy in her collection of awards. Plug the drill into the ceiling, hang on to the drill, turn it on. Wait, hold on.
Bienvenue dans la tentative de record la plus barrée de la Terre. Constantin, ici présent, a eu la mirifique idée de se suspendre à une perceuse et de tenter de faire le plus de tours possible.
This might sound like a slightly insane dream, but in reality, it's one of the world records listed in the Guinness Book. How such a thing could have occurred to anyone is a question that should remain unanswered though. But you can look at how people struggle to cling to the opportunity to become record holders, literally and figuratively. And how many turns around the drill do you need to do to set a world record? 141 turns. Wow.
Voilà, il termine sa performance.
Let's be honest, shoulder blades are not a part of the human body that's intended to set records. Well, you know they are in the back. Moreover, they're a part of the back. However, in the Guinness Book of Records, there are several achievements related to the shoulder blades. One of them is the maximum number of cookies smashed with the shoulder blades in 1 minute.
3, 2, 1, go!
What the?
We're not joking. This record really exists. It was set on March the 24th, 2010 by Azim Malik from the UK on the set of Lo Show Die Record in Rome. And yes, in order to break Azim's record, you will need to break at least 22 cookies. And we're still wondering how he came up with the idea. Not a less strange, but very touching record was set in 2014 in a forest near the Nepalese capital of Kathmandu. There, more than 2,000 people, mostly school children and students, simultaneously hugged trees for 2 minutes. The action was held in honor of the World Environment Day, celebrated around the planet every year on June the 5th. The goal of the organizers was not so much the record itself, as the desire to send a message to the whole world about the need to protect the environment. Don't forget that every tree is a whole factory of oxygen. By the way, the organizers of the event were not the first to come up with the idea. Before then, a similar event took place in Portland, Oregon in 2013. Back then, 936 people simultaneously hugged the trees, so the Nepalese managed to double the number of participants. Running records are pretty common, and they're often set without the participation of representatives of the Guinness Book of Records there. This can happen at various competitions, for example during the Olympic Games, but some ways of running are, let's say, too unusual for traditional competitions. So 0.01 seconds. The last record was set the year before and belonged to another Japanese athlete, Kenichi Ito. But the most surprising thing about this race was that the age of its participants ranged from 11 to 59 years. Yes, if you are already an honorable grandfather, there's no reason to say no to unusual sports. Overall, competitions that imitate the running of monkeys are becoming very popular in Japan. The most optimistic residents of the land of the rising sun hope that this kind of running will soon become one of the official disciplines of athletics. Manoj Kumar Maharana from India, from his very childhood, dreamed of breaking a world record. After all, entering your name in the Guinness Book of Records is pretty cool, and getting a certificate with your name, of course. Kumar was inspired by British record holder Simon Elmore. At one time, Simon managed to stuff 400 plastic straws into his mouth and held them there for 10 seconds. So anyone can do it. After long training sessions, Kumar managed to put 459 straws in his mouth, getting the result on camera and thus becoming a new world record holder. And believe us, it's a much more complicated matter than it seems at first glance. First, the teeth are a problem, and secondly, according to the rules, the straws should be in the mouth of the person for at least 10 seconds, and they should not be held with the hand. One can only fasten the straws with rubber bands so that they won't fall apart in different directions. By the way, this record has another version where you can use your hands. Under these conditions, another record lover managed to put 496 straws in his mouth. If you think about it, it's not such a big difference.
Okay, stop.
Can English walnuts help you get into the Book of Records? Easily, especially if you break them with any part of your body. For example, with your head. 17 walnuts with his forehead, and thereby entered his name into the Guinness Book of Records. Of course, the whole process was filmed on camera, and now everyone can make sure that the champion's forehead is really solid. Like a hammer, he's able to split hundreds of nuts one by one, although nobody knows for how long Navin tried to achieve this result, and whether his workouts caused him any injuries. In the end, hitting your head all the time can be hardly considered that healthy. However, after the record was set, the man was still on his feet. If you have a banana close to you, try breaking it in half right now. If the banana's fresh, it's not that easy to do it. These fruits are quite soft, the rind is torn, the pulp is squeezed out. Overall, it's a good object to set an unusual record. Apparently, that is why the Swede Michael Otterson chose bananas. November 24th, 2001, he snapped 70 bananas in half in a minute. He didn't even break them, but literally just split them in two. It happened on the set of the Guinness World Record show in Stockholm, Sweden. And although the bananas could have probably been put to better use, the record still turned out to be very impressive.
Just look at him go. Have you ever seen someone make light work of yellow fruit? He's snapping them cleanly in two. Snap! The audience are going bananas! What a fruit frenzy! We're nearly there. 3, 2, 1... Stop the clock!
Well, let's hope that after the completion of the filming, the fruits were eaten. Some Guinness records belong to animals, mostly because of their size. The biggest dog, the smallest pig, and so on. But among these records, there's a rather unusual one, and it belongs to the loudest cat. Meet Merlin. He lives in Torquay in the UK, along with his owner, Tracy Westwood, and he looks like the most ordinary cat. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of similar felines in the world, but only Merlin has a really loud purr. Yes, we're not talking about meowing, but about the purr, the very pleasant sound of a happy cat, similar to a vibration. The normal volume for cats is 25 decibels, but Merlin's capable of purring at 67.8 decibels. This is like a feline vacuum cleaner. Besides, Tracy, the owner of the cat, is actually a fortune teller, and she claims that she simply bewitched her pet. Otherwise, explaining these loud sounds is simply impossible. But how did she do it? Well, wizards work in mysterious ways. Putting wet clothes on is no easy task. so why not turn it into another unusual record? A guy named Carsten Zipfel, aka Dr. Crank, took up this difficult task. As a result, he was able to put on 7 wet t-shirts in 1 minute, one after the other, and so far he remains unbeaten. By the way, this is not the only t-shirt achievement in the Guinness Book of Records. There is a similar record there, but with dry t-shirts. The record? 31 shirts. Much more because putting on a wet cloth is much more difficult. This real-life X-Man, Jamie Keaton, can stick bottles and jars to his head. Surprisingly, the man makes a lot of money using his unusual superpowers. Experts suggest that Jamie's talent is related to the temperature of his body, which exceeds 37.8 degrees Celsius. Probably, the increased temperature leads to the fact that the pores of his skin act like suction cups, firmly clinging to the cans themselves, bottles, and other smooth objects. Thanks to this peculiarity, the man, also known by the nickname Canhead, managed to get into the Guinness Book of Records.
Just pull it off.
And if you think about it, it's absolutely deserved. Who else besides Jamie Keaton can put a bottle on their head, bend over, and then pour the liquid into the glass?
Hey, stop being lazy, it's time to use that brain of yours. Welcome to Brain Time. Incredible facts from the past, the present, and even the future. The power of nature and wild animals, amazing facts and unsolved mysteries. You'll find all this and much more here. Subscribe now, you won't regret it.